Achievements. You know, the thing you get when you finally, achieve something.
Well, no shit.
It comes in many forms, like overcoming a challenge, finding every single secret, or farming a bunch of items just for the hell of it. In this video, I wanted to talk about my journey of getting every single achievement in a video game. I've seen all the secrets, all the bosses, all the weird interactions that you thought weren't possible. I obtained my first 100% game back in about 2022, and ever since then, I felt like I wanted to get more of them. I wanted to see everything a game had to offer. My main drive for doing something that doesn't really add anything other than bragging rights is simple. 1. If it's a game I really like, I want to see all the side content that the devs have to offer, and really get my money's worth out of the game, to be honest. The second reason being some of my favorite YouTubers that I watch, like Foco or Nick AR,
You're a dummy!
have been pretty influential on how I approach video games, and seeing them go for platinum trophies or 100% on Steam, on really tough games by the way, made me want to do the same. And over time I've accumulated about 20 plus fully completed games. But with all that yapping aside, let's get into the very first game that I've fully completed. Cuphead. It is a game that I will cherish forever. It is one of the first challenging games that I've ever played. The bosses are relentless and demand you to master their attack patterns. Movement and shooting is so quick and snappy that it makes you want to get better, and the soundtrack is definitely in my top favorites of all time. Hell, the first exposure I had to this game was randomly listening to Botanic Panic back in like 2021. And I was just immediately hooked on it. I can go on and on about why this game is so good, but I think I'll just talk about the achievements so we aren't here all day. The achievements in Cuphead were actually fun to do, which is something I really can't say for some of these upcoming games. Every achievement feels meaningful and changes how you approach the game, which is really hard to do, honestly. But the few achievements that really stick out to me are Beat the Devil at his own game, which has you beating the game on expert mode. Bosses will have new and faster moves that you have to learn, and Pacifist, which forces you to complete all run and gun stages without killing a single enemy. Both of these are rather difficult, and the game in general is honestly pretty unforgiving at times. But once you hit a flow state on a boss, it feels very gratifying. That's why I'm putting this game in great enjoyment ranking, and with a side of challenging difficulty, since the game does demand your attention if you want to fully beat it. Now I can confidently say that most of you probably haven't heard of this game before, let alone know the origin of it. So Madness Project Nexus is sort of a reboot of an old Flash game with the same name, which was also made by the same creator that made the popular Newgrounds web series called Madness Combat, which is still being made to this day. Well, that's enough lore dumping. The game is basically just a beat 'em up where you play as the main characters from the web series: Hank, Sanford, Deimos, Jebediah, and some other character that I forgot the name of. And you gotta fight some goons and make it all the way to the Project Nexus tower and shut it down. Hey, that's like the name of the game. Oh my god. The game is pretty simple yet fun. You'll have enemies and yourself ragdolling around the entire map while you just run and gun your way through the levels. Yes, it's janky and sometimes broken, but it's honestly just something you play to relax and enjoy for a bit, and nothing to really take too seriously. There's also an endless arena mode like in the original game, but it's way more fleshed out and has an actual story behind it. But in a nutshell, it's just more madness but with extra characters. Anyways, let's talk about the achievements. Now, getting all the achievements is really, and I mean really grindy. The ones that are the real stars of the show are Story Victory Madness, Wave Completion Madness, Slaughter Rank Genocider, and Origin Collector. The Madness ones make you have to complete both story campaigns on the highest difficulty, where you and the enemies are all at low HP. It can work in your favor because you can shred enemies from a distance with like guns and stuff. But some levels can be a bit a pain in the ass, which has a lot of enemy spam or a lot of traps around everywhere. Slaughter Rank Genocider makes you kill 53,594 enemies, Yeah, I don't know why it's so goddamn specific. Which means you just have to grind out the arena mode to get this achievement, so that you can just farm kills. And Origin Collector, in which you have to attain an imprint on every single character in arena mode. Now, to get an imprint, you have to beat the arena campaign on a single character twice. And each arena completion attempt is around, let's say, 6 hours. So that's 12 hours for one character, and it's like 10 origins. So that's 120 hours you have to put in arena mode alone. Yeah, that's a lot. Personally, I didn't find this to be all that bad since I was really into the game back then, but I can see this being a pain in the ass for someone who doesn't particularly care for the series. I'll put this in good enjoyment ranking with a side of grindy difficulty, since it did take me around 170 hours to fully complete this game. Yeah, I'm gonna just get this out of the way real quick. This game is my fucking shit right here. It's no secret that I adore Pizza Tower so much. If you take a look at my channel, it is so blatantly obvious that I glazed the shit out of this game. I have thumbnails of this game on different video games. I use music from the game in other video games. I feel like if I want a sound effect, if I want music, I would take something from Pizza Tower and I would just put it in, and it just kind of fits perfectly. The platforming in this game is so slick and stylish. The levels are fine-tuned to perfection that make you want to do it all in one go. And the music, holy shit. The music sets the mood for this game so much. From chilling with A Way of the Pig, jamming to Crust Cove, and letting your heart be pumping in Death I Deserve Rioli. It's the best soundtrack I've ever heard in a video game, period. Yeah, that's right, it's the best one. Persona? Get that shit out of here. Undertale / Deltarune? Pfft, weak shit. Even Doom? Pizza Tower still has the edge. PvZ? Yeah, okay, this one might be a stalemate. And they gave a fucking free DLC that makes you play as one of the bosses who has an entirely different moveset from Peppino. Like McPig, if you monetize the DLC, I would have paid for it like 3 times over. But enough talk, what are the achievements like? Well, it's no surprise that the achievements are the main reason why I regard this game so highly. They make you strive to be better at the game, and even teach you how to be fast and look for secrets better. The main achievements that stick out to me are the P rank achievements, which entail you to beat a stage while not dropping your combo once, finding all 3 secrets, the secret treasure from Jerome, and enter a special lap 2 portal that puts you back at the John Pillar to redo the entire lap all over again. Now all of this is really hard. I'm not saying it's easy, and you will definitely rage a lot like I have, but I would be lying to you if I said it wasn't a blast. Getting a P rank literally makes you ascend to heaven. Maybe because you get a heart attack from it or something, I don't know. Go to enjoyment ranking with a challenging difficulty. Man, I love this game, bro. I really wish the next game that McPig does is absolute peak, because I am hoping and praying. Hades is just a dating simulator disguised as a roguelike.
Wait, why are you looking at me like that?
Shut up already, Zagreus, and come here.
You really... Oh. I thought you'd never ask, but I'm glad you did.
Wow. Wish I didn't see that. Try to erase my memory. Alright, it's gone now.
It's been quite a while since I've actually played this game. I remember it being really fun and engaging for around 40 hours. But after I got the true ending of the game, it was definitely a bit grindy. The main achievements that take the center of the stage are Skelly's Last Lamentations, which make you have to put on heat modifiers that make the game way harder for each run, and Friends Forever, which entail you to max out every single keepsake. They're basically charms that help you in various ways. Friends Forever wouldn't be so bad if you actively swap between keepsakes after they are fully maxed out. But if you're me, who only used like a handful of them, yeah, this achievement is just not fun to go for whatsoever. I remember it took me 3 days of grinding just to obtain it, and then once it popped, I just didn't even touch the game after that. But if we're leaving the achievements out of it, it's still a decent game, I'd say, that is put into like the good enjoyment ranking with a bit of grindy difficulty. Alright, so for the next couple of games down the line, aka the From Software games, I've covered most of them in my top games of 2024 list, so I'm not really going to go too in-depth on these games. If you want me to yap about them, you can go check them out right over here. But I still want to give a summary of what I think about them after all these years, and if my opinions on them have changed over time. So starting off with Elden Ring, well, it was going to be on here one way or another. Elden Ring, my first ever Souls game that I've played. It's crazy to think that it's been 2 years since my first ever playthrough of the game. I don't have it recorded or anything, but I really wish I did because I had some pretty crazy moments in my first playthrough. I have struggled a lot in the beginning to try and become Elden Lord. I even have some screenshots on my old playthrough back in like late 2023 of December and early 2024 of January. Oh, it brings back memories, doesn't it? But enough of the sap. Achievement time, baby. My mind hasn't changed on the Elden Ring achievement list whatsoever. It's still one of, if not the simplest Souls game to fully complete, since the open world can decide how powerful you want to be before fighting the main bosses. But the achievements that stick out are just the legendary collectibles and some of the endings which require a bit of prep to get to. Goated enjoyment ranking with a side of challenging difficulty. I've mentioned this game in the past, and my thoughts on this game are still the same. If you didn't know, Cult to the Lamb is a roguelike that has you traveling on a lonely crusade to take out some weirdos. While you're expanding your Animal Crossing-like village, it's a fun and simple title with some charming characters and good music, but that's really all I have to say. The game is a bit bare bones when it comes to the gameplay part of the game, but that's really just my personal opinion. Okay. Well, I have a confession to make though. So I did actually fully complete this game back in 2024 when the sex update, yes, this was actually a thing, came out. But recently the game got a sizable DLC this year called Woolhaven, which added some new mechanics, a winter season, bosses, and most importantly, new achievements. Whoopee. So you guessed it, I technically don't have the 100% on this game if you go on my Steam profile, but I still think I should add it on the list just because I still fully completed when I thought everything was done and dusted. So the main achievement that stuck out to me back then was Godhood, which made you complete a pretty big ass dungeon section that acted like a sort of boss rush mode. They can kind of cheese this by putting the game on the easiest difficulty, so it's not really that bad. Decent enjoyment ranking with a pretty easy difficulty. PvZ1, my all-time favorite childhood game. It has brought us many games such as PvZ2, PvZ Garden Warfare 1 and 2, PvZ Heroes, and my personal favorite, of course, Plants vs. Zombies 3. Nah, just kidding. Fuck that game, bro. I think everyone knows PvZ at this point. It's a wacky tower defense that has vegetables fighting undead corpses with a crazy person as a side character. Well, I kind of forgot the name of him. It's a simple yet effective game that boosted PopCap into popularity and became an iconic franchise that is sadly rotting away in the modern day. Achievement timey. PvZ1 achievements are pretty piss easy. You get most of them by just playing the game. But the main ones I looked out for is China Shop, which has you reach a wave of 15 in Facebreaker Endless, and Better Off Dead, which is the same thing, but you have to reach a wave of only 10 in iZombie Endless. Both of these aren't super hard, but they can be annoying when you get bad RNG. Good enjoyment ranking with a side of manageable difficulty. Dark Souls 3, my beloved child. Other than Elden Ring and another game on this list, this was the game that really made me appreciate the Souls genre for what it is. A dark, mysterious world that is dying and fading away, with great areas and many iconic moments. A combat system that feels really good to play even to this day. And the best part, the crazy yet cinematic boss fights of this game. There was really no dull moment in Dark Souls 3 in my opinion, and it always surprises you from every corner you turn, and somehow fill you with enjoyment along the way. But if you know, you know, the achievements in this game make you want to throw Miyazaki into his own poison swamp. I would like to introduce you to the False Hope 4, because they give you a false sense of security that you're actually going to 100% this game in a timely manner. Master of Rings, Master of Sorceries, Pyromancies, and Miracles. You can get most of these throughout the game and some side quests, but a select handful of them force you to grind them out through covenants, which usually take around 2 to 4 hours for each covenant. And yes, most covenants are multiplayer based, so if you have a friend to do this with, you can cut down the bullshit grind by a lot. But unfortunately, I didn't have anyone to do this with, so I was stuck suffering in offline mode for the most part. But other than the Covenant grind, it goes into goated enjoyment ranking, and on top of the grindy difficulty. Those Covenants change a man, I'm telling you. Sekiro, the game that for some reason started a whole other subgenre of Souls-likes, with a bunch of parry-based combat systems implemented in their game. And I feel like after Sekiro, every single game pretty much tried to copy that slice of pie, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like none of them have really replicated the simplicity yet gratifying flow that Sekiro has made. And obviously there's a lot of other games that have a similar flow, but ultimately they have other mechanics that they lean on. Sekiro is a full-on action-based parry game that demands you to be on your toes at all time. And if you hesitate, well,
hesitation is defeat.
I talk more in depth about this game in my 2024 video, so I'll just leave it at that. Achievements, bro. Sekiro's achievements are quite simple. Defeat all the bosses, collectibles, and endings. Only real pain in the ass is maxing out all the prosthetic souls, because you have to farm for the materials, and maxing out all skills, which also has you just farming the same enemy over and over again. But other than that, it's simple, and it's the first playthrough that I would find is very difficult of this 100%. Goated enjoyment ranking with a side of challenge and difficulty. You know, Miyazaki, if only you made Sekiro 2, then the world would finally be at peace. You know, Black Myth Wukong is pretty interesting to me. I remember playing it back when it came out in 2024, and every Chinese mofo was on that shit like the president himself told them to buy it. I finished the game and I quite enjoyed it, but I remember the achievements being a little annoying. So the achievements are still unique in that it's pretty much a riddle of some sort rather than just straight up telling you what to do. But some of them can be very dumb, like seeds to sow. I'm not too sure if they updated this, but back when I had to get it, this achievement has you picking out seeds in different regions and growing them to craft some materials. Doesn't sound so bad, right? Well, there is only a limited amount of seeds to pick up in each region. And if I'm not mistaken, if you picked up all the seeds in that said region, you have to wait like 5 to 10 minutes in real time to have a chance for them to spawn. And if they didn't, just quit out and wait again. Probably the stupidest thing I've ever seen in a video game. But other than that, the rest of the achievements aren't too bad, but just a little bit grindy and probably require a second playthrough. I suggest you look up a guide if you plan to go to 100% this game. Decent enjoyment ranking with a side of challenging difficulty. Neon White is a game about speedrunning and going as fast as humanly possible, with a couple of neat guns that each do a specific trick. As a pizza tower enjoyer myself that loves to go fast and speedrun the game, this game scratches that itch that I've been wanting for a while. Speedrun itch. Finding shortcuts, big or small, beating your friends' times, and getting the ace medals. It's not as satisfying as a P rank, but seeing all the ace medals on all the missions still feels pretty damn good. But enough of that. What does it take to get the 100%? Well, for about 95% of the achievements, it's pretty easy. There's some rush modes here and there that'll probably take you like 3 to 5 attempts, but nothing that'll pop a blood vessel. Though if there's one achievement that can just go fuck right off, it's White's Hell Rush mode. You're pretty much doing every single level in the game with shared health, and if you die, your ass is gonna have to start all the way in the beginning. It's pretty frustrating when that happens, especially if you die around the endgame missions. This achievement alone took about 6 hours to do, and by the end of it, I was on full tweak mode. I almost shat my pants there. If I had a heart rate monitor right now, it'd probably be like at fucking 107. Please. I won't have it. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm sniping this shit. I don't care. I literally don't care. I'll pick up pussy all day. And then I realized I had to do it all over again with Mikey's Hell Rush mode, but that one was a lot easier because you have the rocket launcher, which is pretty much the best gun in the game. And it still took me about like 3 hours, but we don't talk about that. Still a fun game though, and a highly underrated one at that. Like, seriously, more people should be talking about this game. It's so good. Great enjoyment ranking with a side of infuriating difficulty. I know I'm not exactly the biggest fan of the old Souls games, pretty much anything from Bloodborne and the previous Souls games. There's a lot of jank, unbalanced enemies and weapons, and overall they're just less polished experiences than the modern titles. But I do commend them for being still decent games and timeless to this day, especially Dark Souls 1. The atmosphere of this game is honestly one of my favorites in the series. There's just something about it that's so ominous, yet so beautiful, with the environmental storytelling. And I didn't grow up with this game either. Like, my first playthrough was back in 2024, so that just tells you that this game is still worth playing even to this day. While the atmosphere and the art direction are great, the achievements is where it's at though. I'd say this game is in the middle ground when it comes to difficulty of these achievements. It's not Dark Souls 3 level of grind, but it's not as easy as Sekiro or Elden Ring. It's a decent challenge and a bit of a grind. The main achievement that people would despise is Knight's Honor, which has you collecting every single piece of rare equipment. And it makes you think it's just all boss weapons, right? But there's just other random shit you have to collect for some reason, because why the hell not?
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
And you can really only get this achievement after about like 2 new games, because Sif has like 3 goddamn items, which is a little crazy. I give this game a decent enjoyment ranking with a challenging difficulty. Nine Souls. Technically my first ever Metroidvania, because I quit Hollow Knight like 2 times before this. What else can I say other than that the game is just still peak? And I stand by my words that I said last time, that it has some of the best 2D bosses I've ever fought. If you're a big Parry fan or just a Sekiro fan, then Nine Souls is pretty much a no-brainer to pick up. Amazing combat, sound design is top notch, and the world is great to explore. Achievement Toad Time Mode. Kind of like any other game on this list, it follows a similar format. Collect all the collectibles, NPC side quests, different endings, so on and so forth. But I think the 2 achievements that stick out are Robo Fight and Repurposed. These aren't necessarily hard, but they are in fact missable. You know, I love missable trophies. For Robo Fight, you have to hack a specific robot in this one area, and then beat the robot mini-boss in that area. If you beat the robot mini-boss before hacking into the other robot, you can't get the achievement since the boss is already dead, like no shit. and Repurpose, which is when you use this Benson looking gumball machine as a fortune teller, but you can't get that achievement if you got the You Bastard achievement, since they both cross each other out. It's a bit annoying since this game forces you to do like a second playthrough, but at the same time it is also a pretty short game, so playing through it doesn't seem that bad. And hey, the game is just still so fun that I didn't mind playing through it again. Goated enjoyment ranking with challenging difficulty. If the gods are there, please let there be a 9 Souls DLC or a 9 Souls 2. I beg of you. The hunting is finally over. I finally have an excuse to talk about Anton Blast. Most of you probably don't know about this game, which I'm honestly not surprised. But it's basically another Warriorland inspired game, just like Pizza Tower. It's actually in development around the same time as Pizza Tower, and the devs are really into each other.
Is this how you get your sick kicks? What? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness!
We already know how much I adore Pizza Tower, and when Anton Blast was revealed, I had some pretty high expectations for this game, because I was looking to scratch that Pizza Tower itch that I had for a while. So when the game came out, I was a tad bit disappointed. The game is still good, don't get me wrong. It has a lot of charm and personality, but something about this game just never really clicked with me like Pizza Tower did. I think it's mainly just the character's movement. Like, you can sort of mac run like Peppino, but instead of wall climbing, you have this hammer jump for some vertical mobility, which was really off-putting at first, and honestly it still is. I eventually got used to it after a while, but I wasn't exactly the biggest fan of this mechanic. Bosses were fun, even if some of them were just lame or infuriating. Music still slaps. Levels and gimmicks are fine, but every time I was playing this game, I was just kind of comparing it to Pizza Tower, which was very close-minded of me, and it definitely had an effect of my enjoyment on this game. And the achievements didn't make it any better. It's About Time, Combo King, and Trigonistic were all the toughest achievements of this game. Combo King is a little straightforward. You have to go through the entire level while maintaining your combo meter. Luckily, if you drop your combo, you can still finish the level as long as you haven't died. But it's still a tough challenge, especially on the later levels. It's About Time makes you complete all the time trials of this game. On paper, this sounds really fun since speedrunning is one of my favorite things to do in these games. But in reality, the best way to get this achievement is to memorize the time trial box layouts, rather than actually just going fast and doing like sort of movement tricks and movement tech, which honestly sucks all the fun out of it. I know it's supposed to be like Crash Bandicoot with the time trial boxes, but come on, they could have had like a mix of it, you know? And lastly, Trigonistic has you collect all 12 pulls in each level, which are the secret collectibles I can find throughout the game. And some of the ways you have to get them might leave you with a broken controller. Now, just like Cult of the Lamb, the game did get a final update that added new secrets, bosses, and you guessed it, achievements. Which one of them is completing a boss rush mode. And all I have to say to that is
no.
Decent enjoyment ranking with infuriating difficulty. Hollow Knight is a hard game with some insanely hard achievements. There's quite a handful of them that stick out, such as the Steel Soul ones, the Hunter's Journal, and the Fifth Pantheon. Steel Soul mode is a mode unlocked after beating the base game. If you die, you start from the beginning, which is just very, very punishing. Especially because it's a pretty long game as well. Luckily, there's a cheese to make this achievement easier, in that if you pause before you are killed or before you get hit, or just pause in general and just quit out to the menu and reload your save file, it won't count as a death. Yes, this is a bit scummy, but we do not care. The Hunter's Journal has you collecting and filling out every single enemy in the game and handing it over to this weird bush thingy. A bit of a grind, but not the hardest one for sure. The hardest one is Embrace the Void, which makes you basically beat every single boss in the game without dying. And it's just as insane as it sounds. I'm going to put Hollow Knight in the good enjoyment ranking and a bit of infuriating difficulty, because goddamn, this game is a roller coaster of emotions. At least for me. Let's keep this one short and simple. I've already made enough points on this game. Nightreign's achievements aren't anything too hard. Some of them just rely on RNG, which you know we all love, right? Many of the raids require you to play certain Night Lords to get the right seed, though most of the time you should be able to get these raids done first try, no issues. I think the real hardest achievement is definitely Champion's Path, which has you beating a Night Lord with every single character, excluding the DLC characters. This will probably be your last achievement you get because there's always those characters that you just never touch. I'm looking at you, people who never touch Recluse. I'm right there too. Look at that. Goated enjoyment ranking with a side of challenging difficulty. We are on the hype train for Silksong once again with the release of CSR's DLC. Hopefully soon. It's a great time to talk about the achievements of this gargantuan game. So the achievements in this game are pretty similar to Hollow Knight. It's almost like it's a sequel to the game. Wow. The hardest achievement in my opinion is still Steel Heart, which is completing the game in Steel Soul mode, so no dying at all. And since this game is way bigger and way longer than Hollow Knight, yeah, this achievement is gonna be harder, like no shit. But luckily, we have technology. And the quit out cheat still works here, which thank God honestly. Twisted Child isn't exactly hard, but it's annoying. You have to defeat the final boss while cursed with this random vine seed thingy, which basically means you can't heal or use spells against the final boss. And Hunter's Memento, just like Hollow Knight, takes a bit of grinding to get. Even months after I fully completed this game, it's still great and worth a try. If Madwin can beat this game, then you can too. Goated achievement ranking with a challenging difficulty. Is the overreacting about this game over yet? Alright, good, because this game is still a gem in my opinion. Obviously not like an underrated gem, it's very well known, but I still hold this game pretty close to me. I'm not sure what the devs are doing right now, but I'm imagining they're making another game right now, and I hope it is similar to Expedition 33 because that would be awesome. Les achievements. You get most of them by just playing the game or beating certain side bosses. The ones that truly stick out are the Endless Mode, Feat Collection, yes, this is a real achievement, Survivor, and Peace at Last. For Endless, you just have to reach the end of the Endless Tower, which has a lot of crazy bosses and other combinations, so it just takes some time to complete. Unless you use Mael for everything, then it's just easy. Feat Collection has you killing every Neveron and collecting their feats so Marnoko can use all of his skills. This is just a bit of annoyance since if you don't have him in the party and you beat a new enemy, then it doesn't count. Survivor is just getting to level 99, bit of a small grind. And Peace at Last, which is beating the optional boss Simon. And this guy is a damn nightmare to try and beat. I would give this game a great enjoyment ranking with a manageable difficulty, since you can get all these in easy mode. Bro, this is just a sad day. You hear that the team behind this game just evaporated. It had some great bosses and great combat. It rivaled some of the greats in the Souls genres. Yes, the level design and enemy variety was bland as fuck, but the weapons and moves they can pull off on these enemies off-puts the shit enemy variety in a way. I just hope the team can recuperate and maybe come back together again to make a similar game or maybe even a sequel. Well, we ain't here to cry about broken dreams now, are we? We're here to talk about achievements. All these achievements are pretty standard for a Souls-like game. The true ending achievement, collectibles, and all that gobbledygook. There's no real hardest achievement here other than like your first playthrough, kind of like Sekiro. The bosses are pretty insane in difficulty and will definitely catch you slipping if you don't learn the game's mechanics. Great enjoyment ranking with a side of challenging difficulty.
Close your eyes. Come to me. Feel alright.
Yet another Souls-like banger that isn't made by From Software. And I personally still think it does some things better than actual From Software games. The atmosphere, crazy ass weapon combinations, bosses, and the story were all top tier in my eyes. And it only got elevated when the DLC came out. It basically just made the game darker and creepier, which is what they were going for anyways. And the main antagonist Arlecchino is such a badass yet disturbing character.
Humans are intriguing to me, but you yet. One can never be too careful. So, you must be assessed. Starting now. My dear Stalker, I have crafted a test that will reveal your heart, your soul, your true self. It's a simple choice. Life is precious, so I wonder, which life do you value more? Yours or your apprentice's?
I've actually 100% this game quite a while ago, back in my 2024 top games video. But since the DLC release, it did have some new achievements. Now you might be thinking, if Cult of the Lamb and Anton Blast had new achievements and you didn't go for them because it was a hassle, then why the hell did you do it for Liza P? Good question, Phantom Figure. It's because I just really like the game. It's nothing too complex. I've talked about the base game achievements, so I'll only mention the DLC ones, which are Memory's Melody and Blood Artist. For Memory's Melody, you have to collect all the records from the DLC, including ones from New Game Plus, so it's just a tad bit of a pain. And lastly, Blood Artist, which is obtained for beating the final boss of the game, who took me around the same time as beating the Nameless Puppet, so pretty damn hard. Go to enjoyment ranking with a side of challenge difficulty. This is the only other Souls game here that is confirmed to get a sequel, so Liza P fans are just winning. Solateria, a game where a bunch of fire people are plagued by a disease, and we have to stop that said disease before it gets too late. You know, a lot of these stories are just ripping off of Bloodborne, huh? Every single game I've seen has a disease, and it spreads through blood, and everything is just a monster. I mean, it's a Souls-alike for a reason, but it's kinda cliche at this point. But enough of that. Solateria is a 2D Metroidvania heavily inspired by Ori and the Will of the Wisp with its art style, and Nine Souls with its parry-based combat. I saw parry-based combat in the Steam Next Fest around this year, and of course I just had to play it. It's my one true weakness.
I need it!
The game looks good and plays good, but my only gripe with it is the parry timings and enemy attack animations. Right here is basically how the bosses in Solateria attack. They hold up their attack for like a solid second, and then out of nowhere, they then frame the attack perfectly just to hit you. It's bullshit and honestly not super fun to fight against. The flow of combat isn't as good as some other games in this genre because of it. It's sad because some of these bosses are pretty damn cool, and I can see the vision on what they wanted, but they ultimately fell a bit short. And the achievements of this game also kind of fall short too. The main thing is killing all the Knights of Gwen, which is basically just getting the true ending. So not too bad. Good enjoyment ranking with a tad bit of challenging difficulty. Blasphemous 1 is a game I've heard about here and there, but I've never really looked into it a whole lot, since there was always other games that just looked a bit more appealing to me. That was until Mars Critical started playing through the first and second game just recently, and I'm not going to lie, seeing Charlie pick up a 7-year-old game and still enjoying it in the big 2026 had me at least pondering the idea of trying it. Now call me a bandwagoner all you want, but I'm glad he gave me the exposure to try out this game, because I have enjoyed it quite a lot. The world is full of sorrow and plague with grotesque and disturbing shit around every corner. It's so disgusting and odd, yet I never really looked away from my screen since it was just so captivating in a way. I would definitely give this game a try if you liked Hollow Knight or appreciate the unique pixelated art style of this game. Now the achievements in this game are rather interesting, though it still follows the same format for the other games here. Collect all spells, or prayers, or rosary beads, and both endings as well. But the ones that really interest me are Bronze Medal and Requiem Aeternam. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't speak Spanish. For the Bronze Medal, you have to reach the Bridge of Cavalry door in less than 3 hours, which is the midway point of the game. There has been other speedrun achievements like this in Hollow Knight and Silksong, but those games had way harder achievements than just speedrunning. And for Requiem Aeternam, this achievement requires you to beat all base game bosses without using a Bile Flask, which is basically your healing items. This might sound quite insane, but to be honest, it wasn't as bad as I thought. Mainly because the first 2 bosses, you can summon an NPC to heal you when you're low. And if you die to a boss, it'll leave a bloodstain that can act as a little healing item. And both of these things won't really lock the achievement. It's just a bile flask that'll lock the achievement. Also, this ball spell that you get from the NPC that helps you is just broken as fuck. And it made the achievement a lot easier. Great enjoyment ranking with a side of challenging difficulty. No surprise that if I liked the first game, I would have liked the second one as well. Though I say that, but I've played the second one first and the first game second. I would have done it the other way around, but this game goes on sale way more than the first one. I don't know why. But anyways, this game is basically just the first game, but more weapons, spells, bosses, movement option, all that glitter glatter, whatever the fuck. It's not groundbreaking by any means, but it's just a really solid sequel. Honestly, that's all I needed to be. Kinda like Dark Souls 3, there wasn't really any moment where I felt like I wasn't having fun. I enjoyed my time with this game from start to finish. Sure, there were some areas and enemies that were rather annoying to deal with, but the movement, weapons, and the soundtrack all elevated the experience, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Achievements Penitent 1 is mostly the same with the first game other than a couple that differ from the rest. This is Blasphemy, Flawless Penance, and Cruel Compassion. This is Blasphemy requires you to do 250 damage in a single blow. This achievement definitely requires a bit of luck or a bit of build knowledge to get, but I'll put it up here because it's just a bit tedious. Flawless Penance, you have to beat any boss without taking a hit. This excludes the tutorial boss. And Cruel Compassion, which has you save this DLC NPC instead of killing him. So this just requires you to replay the game again to get the other achievement. Though you can duplicate your save file before you commit to which action you want to make, so that does save you a bit of a hassle. Great enjoyment ranking with a side of manageable difficulty. I forgot to mention that this game is definitely on the easier side, at least for me. When I was writing this script all the way back in like May or April something, like Jesus Christ, it's been that long. I had everything finished with Blasphemous 2 capping things off. But about 3 weeks ago, after I finished both Blasphemous games, I was still on a 2D dark fantasy Metroidvania high. And The Last Faith seemed like something that was going to be right up my alley. It's got a dark gritty aesthetic, akin to something like Bloodborne, brutal finishers like Blasphemous, and just guns. So I thought, why not just have this on the back burner and play it casual, and I just 100% this game in under 2 weeks. Yeah, I need help, bro. All I can say is if you love Bloodborne or Dark Souls and you love Metroidvanias, this game basically combines the best aspects of both of them. It's not the hardest game in the world, I beat nearly everything on my first or second try, but the vibe of the game is just top notch, and every time I got off the game I just wanted to play it more. Achievement time. The Last Faith achievements are pretty standard, except for a couple of them. Get the 2 endings, all NPC side quests, spells, rada. But they released a DLC earlier this year called The Awakened Ancients that added a dungeon mode with new areas and bosses, an enemy gauntlet, and a boss rush mode. None of these were really hard at all, but I guess Impurity Solaire, aka the boss rush mode, could have potential to break you down, since if you die you have to restart all the way from the beginning, but is definitely not as bad as Pantheon 5. Good enjoyment ranking with a side of pretty easy difficulty. Once again, I found this game on the easier side. I know, I shouldn't really count this one since it's a beta. But I have a loophole here. There's achievements to the beta on Steam, and when I fully completed it, it added this game, or this demo, to my perfected games. So fuck it, I'ma count it. You can't stop me. Anyways, I've been waiting for this game ever since I saw the gameplay for it back in April, and it looks so good and smooth to play. I was basically just fiending for it, and ever since the Summer Game Fest, they announced the open beta for it in June. Only on Steam though, rest in peace my Xbox and PlayStation gamers. So I played through the demo, and it only took about like 3 to 4 hours I think. And you know what? I loved it. Animations were weighty, they were paused like straight out of God of War, and the parry and sound effects were all just chef's kiss. I could easily see this being in my Tops Games list whenever that comes out, and it seems like it's going to come out on August 20th. A lot earlier than I expected, goddamn. And it's only $50. Just take my money right now, man. But enough of that. Achievements, boyo. The beta doesn't have a lot of achievements, only about 9, and you get all of them by just playing through it. But one achievement that is not like the other is Finish the Fight, which is when you have to defeat the tutorial boss. You usually aren't supposed to beat this guy, and like in Souls fashion, he just whoops your ass at the start. But if you do manage to do it, the rest of the achievements are pretty much free. Great enjoyment ranking with a side of pretty easy difficulty. But trust me, I'm going to play the actual game when it comes out. Doom. I do like a good Doom game. If you didn't know this about me already, I absolutely loved Doom Eternal when I first played it back in 2021. It was recommended to me by a friend. I played it for the first time on Xbox Game Pass. I liked it so much that I bought it on PC with both of the DLCs, and then I proceeded to sink around 100 plus hours in that game. Yeah, I think this game is like crack. So when I heard that they were making another Doom game, I was obviously really stoked. A Doom game set in the medieval times, and a parry shield. This is like my wildest dreams come true, honestly. I played it twice now, once back in 2025, and once again in 2026. And the game is great. It's not super duper fast paced like Doom Eternal, but it ain't as slow as Doom 2016. It's just a good middle ground, and I think they pulled it off pretty well. I didn't fully appreciate it back then when it came out, because I was mostly just comparing it to Doom Eternal, which is a pretty bad idea. Also, it was like 2025, man. So many good games came out last year that Doom the Dark Ages got heavily overshadowed by them. But with the 100% achievements under my belt, I can at least say that ID Software made another banger. And their very last one too. The only thing they fear is achievements. This game has pretty chill 100%. No multiplayer achievements like the last 2 Doom games. Thank God. Just challenges, collectibles, and weapon upgrades. So you really only have to play through the campaign about twice if you miss something. I can't really pinpoint a hard achievement. They're all pretty easy to get. You just have to dedicate a little bit more effort than you normally would. Good enjoyment ranking with a side of manageable difficulty. And there you go. That's my list of all the games I have fully completed in the past 4 years. 26 games isn't a lot, especially today's standards where people have like a 100 plus games fully completed. But I prefer to have quality over quantity, to be honest. But I'm still just really proud of my list. All of these games I have fully completed are great in their own ways, and this can serve as a guide on what to play next instead of playing Overwatch again for like 8 billionth time, you know. But yeah, that's all I have to say for now. I'm not sure if I'll do this in the future, but it was fun going back to see all my perfected games and talk about them for a video. But we will meet again next time, so I'll catch you guys later.